So there's two types of productivity, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to understand your own productivity archetype and go with the grain and have actionable steps to improve your productivity based on how you physiologically work. Hello, I'm Dylan, I'm 18 and I coach unproductive people to turn productive using tactical techniques and strategies that have changed my life forever. I spent over 5,000 hours or 210 days straight wasting my life away on Call of Duty and other such video games. But now, using tactical techniques and strategies like I'll teach you in this video, I turned my life around. I effortlessly and easily breezed through large banks of my work for my business, education and personal development goals. And in this video, I will be teaching you the two types of productivity and hopefully helping you refine what your productivity archetype, what your personality is adhered to in terms of productive work output. Just before we get to this video, I do have a unique opportunity for you to improve your productivity and work with me one-to-one. There's limited spots, but the top link in the description will take you to my productivity package, in which I will hold your hand through the trials and tribulations, as well as give you a whole host of other materials such as templates, trackers, tools, my exclusive productivity guide, and my award-winning physical planner, so you can plan your days effectively. If that sounds interesting, check it out. But let's get into the video. So the first type of productivity is sporadic productivity. And this type of productivity is reasonably unsustainable. It's out of the two, it's potentially the weaker option in the regard that it's not fully sustainable. You're not going to have this permanent sense of motivation, of productive drive to complete the work you're setting yourself. And it's one of those situations in which you're about to go to sleep, but then you have this intrinsic drive to do work, etc., etc. You're about to eat some food, but you want to do some work. You're about to do something unrelated to the task you want to get done, but you have this sporadic, randomized urge to get the work done. And this productivity is the first type I'm going to be talking about. And the actionable step for this, the way you can utilize this and go with the grain of the archetype that you might have. You might be someone who spontaneously gets motivation, spontaneously feels the drive to complete the work they need to get done. And if this is the case for you, the actionable step is to always have work that needs doing. When you get this urge of motivation, when you get this intrinsic drive to get work done, sporadically, randomly, you need to have work to do, otherwise it's going to be wasted. You have about a 5 to 10 minute period of this sporadic energy before it fades, before you haven't utilized it correctly, and it's just a waste of energy. It's just a waste of productive potential. So if you always have work that needs to be done, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on your computer, whether it's schoolwork, whether it's revision, whether it's recording, whether it's scripting, whether it's business work that you need to get done, if you always have a bank of work, a bank of admin work, a bank of analytical work, a bank of creative work that you need to get done, when you have this spur of productive energy, this motivation, this drive that randomly occurs during the day, you can then capitalize on it. You can then attempt and do the work and make most of this dopamine that's being released into your system, and not wait 5 to 10 minutes, it disappears, and then you can't be bothered to do the work because it's not in your archetype. And again, this isn't really the most productive archetype to have. It is a shiftable thing. You can progress into a more disciplined and sustainably productive person. But if you're starting off in productivity and this is how you work, this is how you're ticking at the moment, this is how you're getting work done, the game's the game. You may as well make the most of the intrinsic drive you're getting towards the work and work on your discipline on the side, as you will find out how to in this video here. But the game's the game. So that's the first productivity archetype. It is the sporadic, spontaneous productivity archetype. And the second one we're going to be covering in the video is almost opposite. It's the organized archetype. It's the organized productive person, the person who has a planner. They have the list on the wall, they have their quarterly objectives, they have their 3 years objectives, they have everything lined in on what they need to do. So during the day, they have productive banks of work consistently. 9 a.m, 11 a.m, 3 p.m, etc. They have these hours in the day where they're doing this productive work, and they know exactly what they need to get done because they're planning every single day, which I highly advise you to do. If there's any productivity archetype that you want to be, it's the second archetype in this video. It's the organized, tactically planned productivity archetype, because it's sustainable over the long run. Over the years and years and years you're doing the work that you're doing now, this archetype will beat the previous tenfold, because that spontaneous energy is randomized. It could be 3 a.m, you need to get to sleep. It could be 9 a.m, you're on the bus towards college, etc. Whereas this planned, organized, tactical spur of productive work It's easier to track, easier to progressively overload, easier to actually get done. So in the long run, you end up doing more work, you ended up getting more work done, and therefore your output and the success you reap will be higher, therefore. So the actionable step, if you're someone who plans their day, if you're someone who's naturally kind of ADHD, OCD, plans the day, etc., etc., you need to double down on it. Plan more, scale it, be more organized, because there's realms to it, there's levels to organization. If you're listening to this video now and you find yourself organized, you find yourself planning, you find yourself having these weekly, monthly, quarterly objectives for the year so you can make sure you're on track to get this success that you desire, the important thing is to double down, to scale on it, to plan more, because maybe you have quarterly objectives, or maybe you have weekly objectives and you go week by week by week by week, but you're losing the bigger picture. You're doing these weekly objectives and you're taking them off, you're reaping success in the short term, but the long term's taking a hit because you're not aligned to that quarter or that year objective or that 5-year objective. So planning more, being more organized on a higher time frame, or if you're the opposite, if you're on yearly time frames and quarterly time frames, then lower it down, scale into month, week, even daily objectives that you need to get done so you can align the short term and the long term. That is going to be useful. Not only that, but if you're someone who has this archetype of organization, this archetype of plan and productive banks of work, then you'll find it highly useful to continue to plan your days. Because again, it is hard to break an archetype. If you're continually planning your days, and you miss a day, that day is going to be filled with anxiety, filled with friction, filled with this nervous energy because you don't know what you need to get done. So continue to plan your days. You're doing incredible, you're doing amazing, you're doing productive things, and eventually you'll reap the rewards of success. So I hope you take action. Again, if you're looking to get more help from me, if you're looking to maybe convert your archetype from 1 to 2, I can help you personally with the top link in the description. I'll give you my personal phone number. I have templates, trackers, tools, my personal productivity framework, which I prescribe to all of my clients, and a free award-winning physical planner so you can track your days efficiently. If that sounds interesting, check it out. But I appreciate you for watching. Thanks.